In this activity, I'm going to present you with two real-life project decisions that I had to make in P&G and PepsiCo. I will share the opportunities that were presented to me and the data that I had available to make the choice of whether or not to pursue these technology commercialization opportunities. I will then share what actually happened in the two solution podcasts. I would like you to think about what tools I have shared that could help you make a more informed decision than I did. The first one was from P&G on a project that we would ultimately title HAL 2000. P&G wanted to move into the lucrative female hair dye market as it was a logical extension of the existing Vidal Sassoon hair care range. The base formula was an emulsion, something P&G had huge amounts of experience developing. The bit we didn't understand was the dye chemistry. We hired external knowledge and experience in the form of academic consultants to do it for us. It took 3 months for them to develop a shade. It cost £5,000 for each one. You have to launch a new hair dye range every year to keep up with fashion trends. There are between 20 to 30 shades in a range. I knew some robotics experts at P&G's site in Newcastle, and the people I had recently recruited into my team I brought in specifically because they had technical skills ideally suited to tackle this type of problem. The technical challenges were significant. We needed to measure hair dye components in very small quantities, and these were quite nasty materials in their native form. We had to learn how to measure the initial hair colour. We had to replicate the formula development process. We also had to replicate what happened in a hair dye salon. We had to measure the final hair colour after the dye had been applied. But hardest of all was to develop a computer model that could predict the right formula to achieve a certain shade. During a strategic leadership meeting, the head of hair care R&D basically said he was fed up talking about developing hair dyes. He wanted to make it happen. So on the spur of the moment, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I asked him for $500,000, that was £250,000 at the time, and 6 months. I offered to build a robot that would run 24/7, making and testing hair dyes, reducing formulation time from 3 months to 3 weeks. I didn't have any of the tools that I have shared in this week's podcasts to help me make the decision. In the solution podcasts, I will share with you if my instincts were correct and whether it was worth doing the project. One of the challenges that you will always face is to choose a suitable supplier or partner. This is a dilemma I faced on the HAL 2000 project on a number of occasions, but was presented with again soon after I joined PepsiCo International. This was called the A4.2 project. This was a project that, for various reasons, I simply had to get right. My career was literally on the line with this decision. Walkers in the UK and Lay's all over the world make great potato crisps, or chips, because they have great potatoes. They do this because they have a dominant product design and proprietary process that enables them to control the supply chain. And they have incentivized the potato growers to provide the right raw materials with quality-based bonuses. In the old days, this was based on manual evaluation of the quality of the chips or crisps that came off of the production line that had been made with their potatoes. But this caused many arguments between PepsiCo and the growers as to whether these manual evaluations were really robust. A piece of technology called the AccuScan was developed in the 1990s by a company called Key Technologies. This piece of equipment used digital imaging technology and image processing software to measure the defects in a complete bag of chips or crisps. But these machines were extremely expensive, costing £100,000 each, so we only had 10 of them in the company. They were strategically located in production plants across Europe and the Middle East. After 10 years, the manufacturer withdrew support. They didn't see this piece of technology as being an ongoing part of their strategic business priorities. My team were challenged with finding a replacement. We had two options for partner suppliers, one in the UK and the other in the US. The US one was being heavily championed by my US colleagues. But for some reason, I didn't feel right about the choice of them as a supplier. So I agreed to personally visit both suppliers and make an objective recommendation to the European senior leadership team. So I would like to ask you, if you were in this position and have to decide on one supplier versus another and get it right, what criteria would you use to make that decision? I'll share mine in the Solution podcast and show the comparison of the two suppliers. This is a dilemma that you will continually face when commercializing technology, so this activity will help you develop a strategy that you can have at the ready when the time comes for you to choose a supplier or partner.